This interview is brought to you by people just like you. This first launch on Patreon and to YouTube members, so a big thanks to them for backing. If you would like to do so, you can go to patreon.com/safestateplus or become a member here on YouTube.
What's your role on Dune?
So my name's Joel. I'm the creative director on Dune Awakening.
Creative director. We have some fans here. Like, my name is Nerf. He says, love the game, but hit a brick wall at endgame, quit, and not sure what would ever make me come back to the game. Would love to know if they plan to address this and what the future of endgame might look like. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. We just put out like a development update letter about this. So I was explaining in that letter how we're building out like more PvE activity into the end game. So the idea is to take the Landsrad system, which is in the game, change it up a little bit to add more like daily, weekly kind of activities that people do. And then I gave a bunch of example activities, but like, and as you fly around the overland map, things are spawning up and you're like, oh, I can go and land at this site and do this interesting activity. So that's, as we work towards chapter 3 now, that's kind of our focus, building out the end game, making that stuff work. And then the deep desert itself, we've been sort of experimenting with different things there, slowly move that back towards the original vision, but like, try to make sure that people understand the rules that are there a bit better.
What's the biggest lesson you learned after launch? And now that you're, you've been in the world for a while, you've seen how players have interacted with it. What's something you would have changed at launch?
I think there's two things.
Yeah.
I would have never let anyone ever call the game an MMO because I think people then came with an expectation that it should be like a long-lasting, infinite kind of end game. And the second thing I think is just we had polished really well the first 100 to 200 hours of the game. We hadn't quite polished the end game stuff and made the design as tight as it could be. So yeah, we definitely didn't nail that. And that's something we need to work on now.
Got it. McJames says, when are they going to separate PvE and PvP players? Is that something you're going to do?
It's not something we're going to do specifically like on a server level, but we will keep the activity separate going forward, right? And try to make sure that PvE, it's kind of like, if you look at World of Warcraft, even on the PvE servers, there's PvP, right?
Yeah.
We will still have something that's like PvP in the servers, but we will try to make sure that the activity threads are separated, right? So people don't feel like they ever have to go into a PvP area to do PvE.
They're not just free.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else we got? What changes and additions are being made to Endgame? You sort of covered off on that. Are they making changes to the game or something? I really enjoy the game. What are the things you're most excited to talk about for Dune changes?
Well, we have the big chapter 2 stuff coming now. It's just like, it's kind of exciting. Like, we're keeping going with the main story of the game. We're adding a bunch of dynamic events to the world. There's a big event that's going to be running before the DLC drops. So like, there's this thing happening in the world and everyone can get involved. And that's a PvE event. And then there's like a few new dungeons. There's a new vehicle coming. Right, so that stuff's happening all in the Lost Harvest in chapter 2. And then, yeah, I'm really excited actually about the endgame stuff I was talking about. That's kind of the big focus. I had a big summit with the designers a couple of weeks ago where we sat and we just brainstormed how we really want this to go and how it could be great. And then we started to work on how we're going to build it out. So
there's a lot of focus on what the endgame players are going to be doing, the players of 100, 200 hours. What about a new player coming in chapter 2? Like, what do they have to look forward to?
I mean, I think the game, for what we see is on the way people play, people love the game. They love the first, 100 to 200 hours. So like, we're not trying to mess with that too much because it's working. I think the biggest thing that I want to do is make it easier for people to make friends in the game. I think like one of the things that I see is we have a lot of solo players and the game doesn't give people enough reasons to interact with others.
Yeah.
So I'd like to work on building more of a social environment in there.
I asked Jonathan Rogers this over at Grinding Gear, right?
Yep.
It's a very complex game. Once you get to endgame, how do you balance that with introducing the new player to the base mechanics, but not overwhelming that?
Yeah, I mean, we have I think for a survival game, we do a very good job of like a strong linear tutorial into the game that gives people everything they need to know to a certain point. Then there's things around the end game that we aren't tutorializing very well. And it's actually, that's what, someone mentioned hitting a wall.
Yeah.
I understand that. People hit a wall. They don't really understand what the Landsrad is. They go into the deep desert and someone ganks them.
Yeah.
And it feels like it falls off a cliff for them, right? The experience. That's what we're trying to target now. Like build better tutorialization around the end game. Explain to people what they need to do. Introduce them to guilds and friends that they can play with. And try to like actually create the experience that we want. So
Got it. Got it. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I think it goes without question. Console release. That's from VSAM. So what? 2026?
Yeah, next year.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're working on. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So next year, sometime.
Like December.
Yeah, I'll take. Let me say I'm taking September off the table. Isn't that GTA launch?
Yeah.
So
Who knows? Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yes. So not when GTA launches, but you're targeting 2026.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. That's awesome. I've been playing it on and off, and my kid got into Endgame with his friends. Very intense when you get there. Do you find people that get it? They really like dive into it.
Yeah, like I am. It's been a bit heartening to meet some people at Gamescom who are like, I'm playing 400 hours and I'm like in the deep desert every day, and I'm like, my friends and I, you know, we're a tight knit guild and we're doing it this way, because the intention was for the deep desert to be like self-organizing guilds in PvE and PvP working together. And I mean, I think it fell a little bit apart, and that needs to be fixed. But there are some people who really enjoy that. And so I need to find that balance, right? Because once a game is live, you have to be careful about taking away what people love about it as well. You don't want to change it too much, but you need to change it in the right ways for new people.
Yeah, for sure. When are we getting a new Dune RTS game? Are you working on an RTS game?
No, but Dune Spice Wars is a pretty cool game that we came out a couple of years ago, and is, I think, still pretty relevant. If you haven't played that, play that. Get the DLCs for it. Has some great stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. What else we got here? Games have been out for 2 months, by the way. Yeah, thanks. Let me see here. Oh, any performance issues that you've noticed that you're able to correct? They sort of asked in a weird way, but I think he's getting at maybe he's having performance issues on another machine. Are you working on that?
Yeah, I mean, in general, we're optimizing as we go, and especially as we work for consoles, we have to optimize to work with the console platforms, which are, you know,
Yeah.
So, yeah, in general, but the game generally runs okay on the target hardware. So,
Yeah.
if people are having performance issues, I recommend, you know, the standard update your drivers, delete your shader cache, and get it rebuilt, and just see if there's something, because the game should theoretically run nearly all the way down to a 1070.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it runs on Steam Deck. We get decent FPS there. So
Okay. Get a Steam Deck. Yeah. How much sand is in the game? I like sand, but not too much sand.
oh well, sorry, sir, but there's a lot of sand.
Yeah. Yes. Let's see what else we got any more here. Yeah, a lot of people are interested in like, when is it launching on PlayStation? When is it coming to console?
Yeah.
You had like a massive successful launch on Steam. Like everybody's talking about the Steam BB charts.
Yeah.
How are you going to retain have the numbers retained for the most part? And then do you imagine it's going to spike for Chapter 2?
I mean, I think that wall that we talked about has made the numbers drop off when people have played,
Yeah.
you know, a couple of hundred hours. I don't feel like a couple of hundred hours is too bad for people's value for money out of the game, considering we're not doing microtransactions or subscription or anything like that. So people get their value. But yeah, so the numbers start to drop off. So our goal is to, like, we're doing September, we have the deal, like the DLC, the Chapter 2, the big update that's coming. That'll hopefully spike numbers up. We're running a free trial right now during Gamescom.
Okay.
So people can play the game for free for 10 hours on Steam. If they just go to the webpage, they can just play and start trying it out. So giving people the opportunity to get in and see what the game's all about if they're a little skeptical, because I think that'll convince people, just letting them play. And yeah, and I think we'll see. And then, of course, yeah, consoles is going to be a big launch. If we can nail down crossplay, it'll also be like a huge boost in both sides of the fence in that sense. So
Yeah. What's been the most exciting thing that you've seen in terms of like player interactions with Dune?
oh man, it's kind of like there's so many. I really like the buildings people make. Like, obviously there's some very inappropriate buildings, which is kind of fun.
Do they look like penises?
Yes,
I would imagine they would. Yeah.
We have the time to penis metric at work. Enjoy how long I saw someone post a picture of a building, and it was like 5 minutes. It wasn't long. And then but like, they also do really cool constructions. I saw, like, yesterday, someone has used the square blocks to make a pixel, like treating it like a pixel, and they've made a full picture of Pikachu being chased by a sandworm in the game on a wall.
Awesome.
And it's really cool to see. Yeah.
That's really cool. And you can templatize your buildings, and after the sandstorm comes, you just rebuild it.
Yeah.
That was one thing during like the early days. I'm like, well, how's that mechanic going to work?
Yeah.
And like, is that going to like frustrate players? But as soon as we knew you could templatize everything.
Yeah. It's you can. Yeah, like there's also safe areas where the sandstorm doesn't destroy them, right? So a lot of people build there and then just bring it to the deep desert where they get destroyed. So we have been working on making it faster and faster for you to get back up and running after those storms as well.
Do you ever plan to introduce any new classes or any of the new factions that you can align with?
100%. The plan is there's a third faction I have in mind to add to the Landsrad. We're not going to add it right away until we sort of nail getting this endgame stuff right, because I think we need, once we have the endgame good, then we can get the third faction into the mix to throw things around a little bit. And then, yeah, new classes. I would expect to hear some stuff about that maybe later in the year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Noted. That's all I had for you today. Dune's doing really, really well. Congrats on all the SUSS at launch, and just seem to have a mostly happy player base. I imagine this endgame content will.
Yeah, there's like mostly happy and then quite ragey people.
Reddit does exist. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm typing on Reddit as we go.
Yeah. Watch out. Hey, nice meeting you. I appreciate it.
Cool. That was great fun.
So my name is Ole Andreas Haley, and I'm the production director on Dune Awakening.
Okay, so you got this big chapter 2 reveal.
Yeah.
We talked with the other gentleman just a little bit ago.
Yep.
What are you most excited about with chapter 2?
I mean, it's the continuation of the storyline, probably. It ended off on a cliffhanger with the original game, and I think people are excited to see what's next, and we have a lot of good stuff in store with them. It's a little bit of a different vibe to the continuation, and there's some cool lore and introduction of some canon characters, so there's some cool stuff in there for them.
Awesome. The big piece of feedback that we saw online from a lot of fans was, with the base game, they hit endgame and they either got confused or didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
What are you doing to address that with this release?
So we recently made a blog post to expand on this. So I'll rip a little of that. So basically, I mean, we can see from the players' feedback and the metrics that we have that our game is fantastic. Like the people are loving everything for up to the first almost few hundred hours. But we see that the feedback on the end game is that it's a little bit undercooked. There's a foundation there for something good. So what basically we're doing is we're taking a step back, taking all of that feedback in and reading it, and then seeing what next steps are. So what we'll do is we'll recenter around the Landsrad, which is meant to be the activity driver for the end game, and where the players should be organizing their more like the end game loop activities that they do. And we're introducing new activities to that. We're also making it contract-based and more personal contribution-based as well to support that too, in addition to the guild stuff. And then we're utilizing the overland map to introduce more targeted activities for the players to be doing. So you might find like a dungeon on the overland map that will be tailored for a certain group of people to play out.
Okay.
Or similar stuff.
Are the dungeons different every time you go into them?
So we're still figuring out the designs on the details there, but I mean, there will be different types of activities. So we may take a dungeon and tune it, tweak it a little bit, but yeah, it's TBD on most of these things yet.
What's been your favorite thing to see from the community in terms of what's happened with Dune? It had a hugely successful launch.
Yeah.
What came of that really made you feel good about the plan?
Just people sharing their love for the story, the narrative. They feel like it's a game truthful to what Dune is. Probably that's, if I were to say, that's the most proud moment I have, and I think many on the team have for this, is that we made a really good Dune game. And we're a lot of Dune nerds in the office, so that means a lot.
A lot of people online were very curious about console release. Can you tell us anything about where you're at with that?
Yeah, sure. We have a team started on console porting at the moment, so they're progressing nicely, everything according to plan. We have a first working version up and running of parts of the game, so it's just step by step taking and converting everything that we have over to run on consoles. The target date is sometime next year. Before the end of next year, at least.
Not when GTA 6 launches.
We'll see where we land, but that's a hot spot for sure.
Okay, got it. A lot of the buildings people have made. What's been your favorite creation that you've seen from village or people building the towns and stuff?
I mean, there's so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm amazed to see what players build with our buildings. There's everything from I don't know if you've seen them, but there's like Pikachu, like. What do you call them? Not posters, but almost like a billboard of Pikachu.
Yeah.
Or like a scorpion-shaped building, and there's like massive fortresses that people are building. I've even seen people building, and this is kind of the cool stuff with a sandbox survival MMO, people building like a refinery station, which they then use to charge other players to refine their spice.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's nuts. There's like people building all kinds of cool contraptions.
It's almost like taking a life of its own.
Kinda, yeah.
After, yeah. What's something that you really, really loved about your launch, and what's something you wish you would have done better?
It's a good question. I mean, I've loved about it. I think the launch went fairly smoothly. There was a lot of things that we on the back end side, like in the what we call the war room of launch, basically where a group of people who are handling any fires that come up. I felt that went really well, and I think in most cases for a large scale launch like this, it went pretty smoothly. Obviously, on the other side, the other foot of that question is there is, with a live game like this, a multiplayer game, there's always going to be people who are using or exploiting the game or creating cheats or cheat providers. And that's been probably it's never fun as a game developer to try and fight that, because it's, in the end, it's a battle that's never going to end. But I mean, we're in there for the battle, and we are plugging every hole that comes off and making changes to make sure that we are balancing it out in the outcome. So
I'm sort of curious, how do you feel about not cheats, but like if somebody finds an exploit in the game to duplicate an item and they duplicate a bunch of items, like how do you handle that as the guy working on the game?
I mean, with
Do you do mass ban waves, and like anybody who did it, they're banned?
pretty methodological about it, the process. If we can see from the data that it's definitely due to a ban, we have pretty good data to be able to dig into it. I mean, it's a ban for sure.
Yeah.
We have a zero tolerance towards cheats or exploits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you're cheating or exploiting and we can prove it on our backend, we'll ban you. And then we might go in and we have done this as well. Like we removed some of the banned, duped Solari, for example. So we will go pretty heavy-handed on that.
How do you counter bots? Do you see any bots in your game, or do you kind of have a system to work them out?
I mean, we have ways of measuring or monitoring, but there's some of them that are quite tricky. A lot of times we also rely on player reports. They are like, our players are really good at reporting suspicious activity, and obviously they have really dumb names sometimes. That helps. But yeah, it's player reports, our own tooling to show like weird behavior, and then we just go in and investigate, and then we try and clean it up as much as we can.
Got it. What's the thing that you're most excited about this big update for the game?
Oh, the Chapter 2 update?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I mentioned the storyline, but I mean, the whole DLC part of it is also awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's 4 new dungeons introduced, like Imperial testing stations. And then they have like a cool little side story that takes parts of what was in the lore and kind of expands on it quite a bit, because it's not an area that was explored that much. But yeah, it's really cool. Some cool dungeons that have quite unique visuals. I don't think we've shown too much of that yet. So that's going to be cool to see what people really think about.
Reddit found some flame dragon gun, and they were a little upset about it because they didn't feel it was lore based. What do you want to say to them? Like, how did you come to that weapon creation?
I think Joel answered, actually, the creative director on that Reddit post, because I sent it to him this morning, and he was like, I'll just go in and answer. And there's Joel, our creative director, he knows the lore inside and out intimately. And there's many times where we get that, and there is always, if we do ship something like that, there's a trail back to the lore somewhere. Yeah. So even that skin has some foundation in the lore. I don't know the lore as intimately as Joel, so I'm not going to try and go into it and explain it. But yeah, it's not unheard of or unthought of to do that.
So you're not going to be doing anything like Fortnite skins?
Absolutely not. No. I've had that question a few times this year. Yeah, it's a hot topic, I guess. But no, it's no Fortnite skins, no out of lore, out of context. Like what what really matters in a game like this is that we maintain the tone of the game and the tone of tone of the IP and the tone of the universe.
Yeah.
That is important. And anything like that would just break the tone completely.
Well, great. I wish you best of luck with this new chapter and with all the future releases for Dune.
Thanks, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so very much for watching and supporting. I do greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you so very much. And if you are on Patreon already, a big thank you, especially to the top backers, Christopher Eddy, Phil Aroni, and Aries EMS, as well as Shane Carroll over on YouTube. I need to update this list, but if you want to back and allow me to keep creating content like this, you can do so at patreon.com/SaveStatePlus or by becoming a member right here on YouTube. I'm going to get out of here, but I will see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.